Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome.
Right, so here we are. We are so excited to have Ruth with us today. Ruth, welcome to
Hey.
your first presentation at a WWJ conference.
Yes.
I am going to pop out. Tish said that she can hear you clearly.
Awesome.
As you guys can see, it's a whirlwind of a day.
Yeah.
We just hopped off of Riley Cross and now we're in Alabama. What kind of time travel is this? Just so super excited. Ruth, I'm going to drop. I'll let you introduce yourself, talk away. If you need me, call me. I'm down below in the studio.
Awesome.
I will be right here also manning the chat and looking forward to being inspired. So bye, Ruth.
Woo, bye. All right. So first off, I want to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I'm 18, and I was homeschooled from elementary school through high school, and right now I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree in education. And I started writing about a year and a half ago. But growing up, I never really thought that normal people could write books. I don't know why. It didn't click right. And then my older brother Luke started writing books, and I was like, this is pretty cool. This is awesome. But I don't know. It didn't really click for me until about a year and a half ago. And we were just riding in our van with my family, and Luke was talking about some books he was planning about writing. And I was just thinking, and I got this picture and this idea in my head about what if there was a book about two undercover spy kids who were Christians? And so I got home, and then a couple days later, I started writing out some ideas, and my mind just took over from there. I just started exploring different things and stuff. So I've tried a lot of different things over the past year and a half, and I've learned a lot from Jen and the WWJs and Luke and just experimenting. So hopefully I can share some of my knowledge today, what I've learned. But right now I am almost in the first draft of my book. It's over 60,000 words, which is a reflection of my writing style growing up. I used to be very wordy in all of my English assignments. So, and my mom didn't necessarily love that with certain things, but she still enjoyed reading my stories. So, but sometimes I would write like, I don't know, 9 pages, which was like a page and a half, and she was like, "What do you do here?" So maybe that set me up for my author life. I don't know, but anyway, so I've got 7 points, and hopefully I can cover them all fairly quickly. But the biggest point I have, and that I've learned, is that myself included, I think most authors have a lot of fears surrounding their books and the author world. And the biggest one I think is that you're not going to be good enough. And I struggle with it sometimes too because I'm like, I don't have the knowledge to write a very good book. But that's where like you can just branch out and try to have other people help you because I'm not made the way Luke is made. I'm not made the way Jen is made. So I can't do the same exact things. But I can do what God has called me to do, and that is to at least get it out of my head and try to write in the way He has, and let other people look at it and see, okay, how can I make this better? How can you change this or whatever? Sometimes you just need to have a fresh perspective on your story. But we're all just instruments in God's hands. So, I mean, we are the way God made us, and we have to just try to learn. And your story can be good enough, and it does matter. Like that is a big thing about there's so many books out there, your story doesn't matter, but it really does. It's like I'm an avid bookworm, and I love reading books, and every book has a unique perspective on a certain message or whatever, and it's what really the perspective of the author really helps kind of I don't know, just bring it more real to you. And so every book, every story in your head really does matter. And then another fear people have is the fact that you're not an author. Like I'm not an author, and I wasn't for a long time either. And I'm not sure exactly what changed necessarily, but it did. So and also all authors come in different shapes and sizes because like I write a certain way and I write differently than Luke does, or I might interact with my characters in my head a little differently than other authors do. So just be yourself and try different things and yeah, just do whatever works for you. And then another thing is the fact that it'll take too much time or too much money. And I really learned a lot that yes, it can take a lot of time, and I've noticed that a lot, and it can be stressful. But in terms of the money thing, also you just have to use resources God's given you, and He's placed different amounts of money in different people's hands, and some people may not have much money to get a good publishing company or a whole lot of editors, and that's okay. You just use whatever God has put in front of you. So that's the biggest thing, is to conquer your fears, and that also comes through prayer and reading the scripture and talking with other authors. Like Jen has helped me a lot. I'm scared of editing my first draft because I haven't done much editing. I'm scared it's not going to be perfect, but I've learned that it doesn't have to be perfect. So you just have to try to control the fears and everything. So the second point is the question, why do you write? And this is one that Jen's asked us in boot camp a lot. And it helps me stay motivated when I don't feel like writing, or I don't think my book matters. But I like to write because it's fun, but I also like to write because it is God glorifying and it is using the talents God has given me, I believe. And I think when you remember why you write, that really helps you just being able to push past the stress or writer's block or anything. So and one of the reasons I also write is because I'm more of a conservative. My family has stricter rules than other people do, which is really good. And we're a little limited in certain books that we can read. And I've learned that there are certain genres that don't have a lot of very clean fiction, and I want to be able to provide other conservative people with very clean, totally just good books that have a God glorifying message. And that's one of the reasons why I like to write. And then number 3, my point is let your story be your story. Don't let the pressures of the world change your story. Like, as in, if you have a certain standard and say, I can't put certain words in there, or I can't put certain scenes in there, don't let sometimes bestsellers tend to have other things that I would not personally put in my story. So don't necessarily put the wrong things in there just because it's going to make it maybe more of a seller. And I know it can be difficult, especially for certain people and everything, but I just personally that you can't compromise and you have to do whatever God has given you. And for different people, that's different rules, and that's great, because that's the reason why there's so many different authors in the world. And also, one thing I struggle with is the fact that don't try to copy another author. I'm so scared I'm going to plagiarize another author's style, and I think if you just take the time and think about the story as being your own story and follow through with your own characters and the way God has given you, and then just let it be the way it is, and you won't copy another author, I'm sure. And you can, I've prayed about it too. I'm like, God, don't let me, copy another author's thing. So, is that. And then also just give your characters a chance just to guide the story. Like, I love just interacting with my characters and everything. And I think it's just so much fun just to learn their likes and dislikes and everything, which brings me to another point, is just being yourself. That's my 4th point, is be you. I come from a family of 7 kids, which means that we're all very different. And Luke and I are the only ones who actually really enjoy fiction writing. And I've got 2 siblings who don't really understand the whole author imagination kind of world, and they think I'm kind of crazy. And that's okay, because they're a little crazy too. So if we all kind of balance each other out. And your uniqueness is what can set you apart from other authors. And I think we're each given a different perspective on the world, and that comes with your own temperament, your own upbringing, your environment where God has placed you, and you can use that to your advantage. And you can say, hey, what have I been exposed to that I can really write in books? Like, what things have I gone through, has God helped me with, that I can try to teach others through either a fiction book, or you can even, if you want to write a biography, that's great too. But one of the things also about my own personal author life is the fact where certain people like to interview their characters, and that's great, and I've done that somewhat. But with my spy Christian novel I'm writing right now, I actually liked to do something, I don't know what you call it necessarily, but wherein I actually do things with my characters. Like I put myself almost in their world kind of. And by nature, I'm not a reckless person. And so I've never gone like skydiving or anything. But I imagined in my mind, well, it would be like, and I wrote this all down, what it would be like if I went skydiving with my characters. And I learned a lot from that one like little experience. So that was so much fun, and I enjoyed that a lot. So I don't know that you could try that if the interviewing's not working out well for you. So another thing too is the fact that authors can give a lot of advice, and a lot of it is very good, but it doesn't necessarily always work for you. Like Jen, I know her method, she prefers to write a chapter a day. I'm more of the kind that likes to write for a certain time period, or just until I feel like I'm done for today. And it just depends on who you are. So you can try out different ways and see and everything. So yeah, so just be you. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. And my fifth point is to focus. That's a big one for me because I started out with just one idea for one story, and now I've got about 8 different ideas for other stories, and I'm really dying to write 4 of them. But I'm making myself focus on the one because some people can, spread their attention over a lot of different stories, but I can't. I have to focus on one, give my best effort, and then when it's done, I can know this is the best I can do, and it's not perfect, but it is the way God's given it to me, and this is it, and then I can finish that one story and move on to the next. Some people want to try to do 2 different stories at one time, that's totally fine. But I have also been given certain ideas, and I do write those down, that way I don't lose them. And also, don't become so burdened by your book that like it's like it doesn't become joyful whenever you write. Like sometimes you need a break. Like I know I have done that too. It's just sometimes it can become like a little bit too heavy. I take a break, and I did that. For a while I thought I knew where my book was going and everything, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to. I wasn't feeling very joyful in my writing, and then I paused for a little while, and then God just gave me some other perspective, like, oh, where this happened, where that happened, and I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. So I started writing again, and it was good. I was able to get past that. So then my 6th point is to learn from mistakes, but that means both your mistakes and others' mistakes, because other authors who've been on us for a long time have made a lot, and they can think to you too. And when I started writing, I wrote using my journal, and I was writing ideas for characters and different scene ideas. I didn't really have like a certain like outline. I wasn't starting from the beginning, just different scenes as they came to me. And then I said, okay, let me just try to write like a certain period of like the story. And for some reason, I started in the very middle. I don't know why, and it worked for a little bit, but then I lost it. It didn't click for some reason. And then I learned about Camp NaNoWriMo, and I in that November of 2021, I actually restarted my entire story like from the very beginning. And it was like a breath of fresh air. It made so much more sense. It was so clear now. And I've had struggles. I have definitely had struggles, but it's been much more of an easier way for me to go. And then, so, I don't know. And also, and now when I'm reading books, I've learned things in the WWJ and like boot camp and with Luke and everything. And so because of that, I love to try to catch little mistakes in the books I read. I'll be like, oh, they switched POV here without, telling me first. And it doesn't change my opinion of the book. It's just kind of nice to put what I've learned into practice, kind of, and also know that I can catch it, hopefully, when I go back to my editing, and I can see, oh, I did this wrong, and stuff like that. So, yeah. And also, I've also made the mistake of changing my focus. Like, I was trying to, do 2 different, too many different stories. Sorry, I can't talk today. Too many different stories at one time. It was not working. It was like I was spreading my focus over too many things, and I had to just stop and say, I'm going to focus on this one. And also something else also is the fact that mistakes are not bad. And that's the really important thing. I feel like that people can get, upset when they make mistakes. But mistakes really are just a chance to grow. You try something, it doesn't work, and then you try something else, and maybe it does work. But now you know for the future what didn't work, and you can share with others as well. So, yeah, I think that's one of the big things, and is just don't be scared of making mistakes, because I know I've made plenty, and I'm gonna make a lot more over time. So, And then the very last point I have is something that Jen has um, made a very big thing of our boot camp is to write with joy. And that has actually helped me a lot because sometimes I don't feel like writing. Like sometimes it's just not right sometimes. And I'd be like, okay, I'll just put it aside and wait until I am excited and joyful about the story. And you should love your story. And I remember there was one scene I wrote months ago, and I don't know why, I just did not like it at all. And I look back now, it's like I'm not even sure why I wrote that scene necessarily. So I'm probably not going to keep it. And it didn't. When I wasn't joyful in that scene, it just became like a pressure like on me. Like I just didn't enjoy. I didn't like how the plot was going and everything. So, and also just let your story change too. Like that's what I've also really loved about my story is that it's not the way it is now is not the way it began like a year and a half ago. So let it change. And and whenever you write, it should lift your spirits instead of making you feel upset or aggravated. And if you need a break to be joyful when you come back, then take a break. Um, but yeah, and that's about what I've learned so far, and also just having a support group like that has been so encouraging for me. Having the WWJs since we're all at different levels and everything, we can, like I said, just share about our mistakes and about how we can overcome those as well. And so, in closing, I would just like to say that we should just follow the path God has given you, and just be okay with like being yourself in the author world, and let the story come as it comes. And another thing I wanted to say too is that talk about like the pressures of the world on you is something that I've actually reminded myself too is the fact that the message of the book is worth much more than the money you could earn from it being a bestseller or whatever. Like every book has a message, and you want to ask yourself like what is my reader going to walk away from this book thinking about? What is my number one thing? Or there are different messages, like there could be several in there, but what is the number one thing my reader's going to say, oh, I hadn't thought about that before, or what are they going to like really, I don't know, walk away from with that. So yeah, that's been about what I've learned over the past year and a half, and I'm just so happy to be part of the WWJs, and Jen's been awesome, and I'm just so thankful I get to do this today. And actually, this was my very first time presenting in front of a live audience. I took a speech class for a college class, and it was all recorded, so I didn't have to actually speak in front of a live audience. So this has been awesome, and I get to, yes, be here and everything. So that's, and it's also, and in my own life, it's been awesome having an older brother who enjoys writing, because we can just talk about different things and where like different ideas we have, or if something just didn't work for us and everything. Because there was, I remember this one night I had an idea for a chapter for a book, and it was the first chapter, and I had no idea where it was going. So I wrote it down, and then I put it away. I was like, I don't know what's happened to this, but I wrote the first chapter, and it's there if ever I need it again. If I don't need it again, it was fun to write it when I did. So yeah. So
I am here with
awesome.
Ruth. First, we just had Tish say you are amazing.
Oh,
Proud of you, Ruth. You're such
thank you.
an inspiration. We have some questions in the chat for you,
Awesome.
and I would like for you to just flood the chat with questions at this time.
Yes.
We have a few minutes to celebrate Ruth, because that's what we're all about today. But you brought out some great tips.
It's just things that you guys have taught me and I've learned over the past year and a half. So just trying to share what I've learned.
So we're so proud of you because, like you said, overcoming the fear,
Mm-hmm.
writing with joy,
Yeah.
learning when it's time that you take that break.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, that's about the balance in what we do, because
it's different for everybody.
yeah, and your life, Ruth, you're a college student, so
Yeah.
you have assignments to do, and
Mm-hmm.
you have studying to do, and you have family life
Yeah.
and responsibilities in your community, and finding that time to write,
Mm-hmm.
entering it in that space of joy instead of what you said, stress, frustration.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what you want.
No.
So talk to us a little bit about that balance. Have you found a good rhythm for yourself, or are you still learning it?
I'm definitely still learning it. It really depends on like I don't know. It really changes, and also like I enjoy writing at night sometimes. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, so I have to just find other times of the day that works for it. So yeah, I don't. Sometimes I think when I feel like pressured sometimes to write or whatever, sometimes I'd be like, okay, what, like, why am I feeling pressured to do this? Like, I need to just take a step back and like take a break, or trying to think about other things for a little while. But yeah, I'm still learning. I have not found a perfect balance yet.
I would like for anybody that's found the perfect balance to put it in the
Yeah,
chat, because I think what you're saying is how we're all maybe feeling. I don't want to speak for everyone, but always trying to change and grow and learn and find the balance, because
yeah,
life comes at us in so many different ways.
it does.
But like you said, you're called to this work.
hmm
So when you love to write,
hmm
growing up, you see Luke, your brother, and he's
Yeah,
been such a great inspiration for you.
he has been. Yes.
Like, how does it feel now to say you're an author? Because you said, I don't know what happened here. I don't know where the change was, but it happened.
It's really weird to think about. Like, I actually just saw about this the other day because when my older brother Luke, when he finishes a book, ready for editing, he prints it off, and we, as his family, we edit it and everything. And I just saw, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that too. It's like it's right now. It's just like it's been more like a private kind of thing that I've talked about with other people, but um, I don't know, for some reason it just wasn't real to me. So now it's very it's really cool though. I'm really excited because I love books. I really do, and so yeah, it's been awesome and kind of a little frightening at times, but yeah, I'm super excited and I'm so glad it'll never stop. Like like I don't know why it's like I enjoy it even though I don't enjoy it all the time. Like I know everybody has struggles and everything, but overall I really enjoy this, and I'm so glad like that Luke found you guys and he led me to you. And actually, that's what I want to bring up is that a year ago at the last conference was when I joined the WWJs. So it's been a whole year with you guys. It feels like longer, but it's been 1 year.
So Shelly Mack is here. She said her signal keeps dropping in and out.
No,
I just wanted to say hello to you, Ruth.
hey, Sally.
You've got people in the audience, great speaker, and talk
Wow.
about your speech class, and now here
Mhm.
on the platform. I mean, you speak with us every week.
Yeah.
What type of courage does it take to live this author life?
Oh, it takes. It really depends also on like yourself because I'm not like I feel like I have self confidence, but I'm not really given to necessarily like I don't know. I've never thought myself as being like a really inspirational speaker. Like doing speech class in college was fun, and I enjoyed having the recording beforehand, so I could to do different things and like redo it. Because like one time I remember supposed to be a speech like 5 minutes, and it was like first time I recorded 8 minutes, so I had to like really pare it down. But to do it today was a little more nerve wracking because I knew I couldn't go back and change anything. But I really enjoyed doing this today. So it was fun. But
Love it. So you have a question from Brother Luke.
aha, yay.
What or your characters motivate you the most?
Oh, I would say in terms of motivating me to write, I would say the plot does. But I really enjoy. I'm not sure why, but I love my characters. Like I really do, and I love getting to explore them. But I really, because like I know Jen and you and Ian have thought about talk about how your characters come and kind of grab you by the hand, but it doesn't really happen that way to me. It's more of a plot thing. I feel like.
And I really love how we all experience our author world together,
Oh
and we
yeah.
have that opportunity to share how these things happen to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, so Luke, is it plot or character? You guys can put in the chat.
Yeah, totally.
Say, is it character or plot that drives you? Do you want to see how it ends, or do you just want to appease your character because they won't stop talking to you?
Right.
I'm a character person, you know that, Ruth. But
Yeah.
and Anne said, if you're looking for an editor, let me know. She'd be happy to help.
Oh, thank you.
I want to say that just the growth, capturing moments of growth. Have you used any type of journaling?
Oh no,
Or sharing out with family your different points across the way? Like, is it something that you would like to do so you can capture these moments? Because my memory, if I don't write things down,
Yeah, I think I would. I think I should start a journal and just, every once in a while, like write about, how I'm feeling about writing and what I'm working on and everything and things I've learned. That's a good idea. I should do that.
because you have brought up so many tips right now. Like you had your list. I saw your paper one time. I was like,
I know.
what's she saying so much? Like, guys, you need your journal beside you right now and go back. And you can say, okay, number one, have no fear. Let's write that down. Be yourself. Like, put a big circle around that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we're our authentic selves and we're interacting with our manuscripts, it is uniquely ours. I love the words that you spoke today, because when you start putting them all together, it's like a beautiful pieces of puzzles of God's design of how he's called authors to do our work.
Mm-hmm.
So love it. So Tish said characters drive. Ann said characters.
Oh, okay. So that's funny.
Ann's like, just grab you those 50-cent composition books. Oh, Luke said he has a combination of plot and character, but he leans towards characters.
I thought so.
See, Luke, she's figured you out over all of this time. So I'm really excited to be on this journey with you, Ruth.
Thank you.
And to be able to see all of the great things that are in store for you, for education, for the future classroom of students who are going to be so blessed to have you as a teacher. Just so excited to see how the Lord is working in your life and bringing you to this table, author world.
Yeah.
So, guys, for last minute, I would love it if you guys could all wave at Ruth through the screen and drop in any last minute thoughts that you might want to have about this session, because we're about to close this one out and jump right back in just to a hangout session. So we're just going to be hanging out for two authors together, sharing just the whole roller coaster of life. So Luke said, great job. We're so proud of you. Tish said, waving at you, Ruth. This was an inspiration.
Thank you, Tish.
So, guys, thank you for joining us for this session and meeting Ruth. Yeah. Ruth, you are on Instagram.
Yes, I am.
I tagged Ruth yesterday. Collins said, great points. Thanks for sharing, Ruth. And I love that you're 18 years old, balancing, learning, growing, accepting mistakes, and just having it with joy. Like, we've got a lot to learn from Ruth, y'all.
Well, I was thinking to myself, too. So those were all things.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining us, Ruth. And we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Pop back in with us on the playlist. Share it out with a friend. We'll see you in a second.
Bye.